This is Andy Poroff, Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and once again I'm delighted to be joined by Adam Smith, head of Sky Sports Boxing. Adam, an eventful weigh-in to say the least. What was your take on the day we've just had?
Well, it's been an eventful week, hasn't it? We've just come off the live stream. I had Joe Weller and Gib and Ethan Payne along with Matt and Johnny, and you know, this sort of mixture of worlds has been really fun this week, and we've learned a lot about the YouTube world, and they've learned a lot about boxing. And I think what I love about it is the fact that all the YouTubers have huge respect for boxing. You know, they love it. They've chosen our sport. They can't wait to see Devon Haney and Billy Joe and all the kids on the card. But obviously they are really sort of, you know, focused on their guys, KSI and Logan Paul, because of their world and how it affects it, especially for the loser. But it's been really interesting. Yep, today was loud, atmospheric, great, you know, bit of needle again between the two of them on stage. Nothing too unpleasant, but then obviously they had the little bit of a ruckus with Viddal and Shannon that we were hearing about. Actually, Shannon's cap ended up in one of my production staff's hands, so I don't know how that happened, but we were on the stream at the time, so we didn't see anything. But look, they've been getting at each other all week, and it's a mix, isn't it? It's a mix of a couple of novices getting in a ring who everybody want to see fight. Just for the sort of the entertainment, the attraction, the mad chaos of it, and you've got, you know, some real quality talent on the bill, like we see, you know, week in, week out. The Nikita Abubis, the Espinas, they're really good fighters, and then Billy Joe and Devon in big fights. So yeah, looking forward to it.
You mentioned the likes of Joe Weller and Ethan Payne in particular, who have both interacted with yourselves and Sky and done a lot of work with you so far this week. Has it kind of surprised you by their commitment to the roles that you've given them for this week?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a good question, because we had not a similar event, but certainly a different event with Mayweather and McGregor a couple of years ago. And I decided to go into the UFC world, and we hired Dan Hardy for the week. And okay, it was a boxing match, but Dan's a real boxing fan, and actually working with him, we got the sort of fitness, nutrition, the sort of what they build up in the UFC world and the promotional side of it, mixed with our world. So actually we commentated with Paulie and Dan together, and it was a really great week, and it was interesting. And I sort of talked to people that knew the YouTube world, obviously not just my kids who love it, but actually people that sort of worked with these guys before. And you know, Joe Weller's name kept coming up, and Joe obviously started this whole thing. So he's been absolutely fantastic to have all week. He's a great guy. He's a great communicator. They all are. Ethan's been a brilliant addition as well. We've had Gib coming in from Hawaii today. I know Toby Jizzle's around. They're all here. But yeah, I think, you know, Ethan and Joe have built a real rapport together on the streams that we've done, and it'd be really good to hear from them in commentary tomorrow night.
Now, we've also had a few kick-offs, shall we say, after the weigh-in. Did you catch any of it? It seemed to be in particular Shannon, Briggs and Viddal Riley getting caught up in and amongst it once again.
No, I didn't. I was on the live stream at the time, so we were on one side. So I mean, I saw the commotion, but I mean, is it all handbags? I don't know. Look, Shannon Briggs and Viddal Riley have been going at each other for a while. I spoke to Viddal about it this morning, and you know what? He's trying to remain cool, and maybe he didn't. I don't know. It obviously was a bit of fisticuffs, and that we all need something, don't we, in fight weeks like this? But as long as no one got hurt, no one was, the fight's still fine, and everyone goes ahead, and off we go. It's tomorrow night.
We've seen it in the build-up between Shannon and Viddal is kind of continued to bubble over. Let's say if down the line that a fight there was to be considered and made, would it be of interest to you? Because I know that there was talk of it previously.
I don't know. I mean, look, let's take one thing at a time. I mean, we're moving into a new era here doing this. You know, KSI and Logan Paul for sort of half price on box office. It's a big move for us, and we're looking at a new demographic, a new marketplace. And you know, to be honest, if we didn't do it, then somebody else would snap it up. So you know, let's just see how things develop. Let's get through tomorrow night. Let's see. You know, Gib wants to fight Jake Paul. There's all sorts of things out there. So you know, we've got to remember we've got Callum Smith and John Ryder and Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz in a couple of weeks. Then you've got Monaco. Then you've got Ruiz and AJ, the biggest rematch of the year. So let's not forget what we're here for. We're here for boxing. We've got some great fights on the card tomorrow, some big names, and we've got the YouTube stars topping this sort of surprise package. This is a great bill, and look, we've got to embrace it. We've got to enjoy it, and let's hope it's a decent fight between the two of them. I don't think we should expect too much. They're two novices. They've trained hard, but you know, there's a lot of pressure, and there'll be a lot of nerves about losing the fight. So I'm expecting, obviously at its level, something quite decent. But let's just hope for that.
My final question, just away from this card, we had the fight announced today, Danny Jacobs versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, really interesting fight. I mean, Chavez brings a massive name, doesn't he? You know, he always does. And, you know, Danny Jacobs has got to come back from the Canelo defeat. And I think it's a good fight. I think it's a good match. And it's just before Christmas. So we've got a lot of fights after Saudi Arabia. When we come back from AJ, we've got a next gen. We've got a golden contract. We've got all sorts of things. There's a Barcelona show as well. So much happening. And then we've got the Danny Jacobs fight. So there's a lot happening on Sky, certainly for Matchroom. And we'll just, we'll be pretty tired by Christmas, Andy.
Well, we certainly will be. I can imagine what it's going to be like. But I will leave it there, Adam. I know you've got to shoot off. So thank you once again for giving up your time and speaking to myself and Boxing Social.
No problem at all. See you tomorrow.